Hi everyone, it's Miss Amy from Camden Public Library, and for today is Tuesday, and so for today's Tinker Tuesday, we are going to do a STEM activity with oil and water and a little bit of food coloring. It's so much fun for kids to experiment with this, and it's really colorful. You can use any colors of food coloring. I have just the standard red, green, yellow, and blue. If you have an eyedropper, you can use an eyedropper to put the oil and water together. If you don't, you can use a straw. So you just dip the straw in, so like this, and put your finger over the top, and then dip it in, and it will hold that little water. You don't have to have an eyedropper, but an eyedropper works great too. And then I have cooking oil, and I have just water, and I have 4 jars. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is fill each of these a little bit with water. And then I'm going to do each of them with food coloring. So yesterday, November 8th, was National STEM Day. So I didn't really want to do something yesterday because we do Tinker Tuesday today, and it's harder for me to do it at the library than it is at home. So anyways, let's do this. So I'm doing 2 drops of each in these glass jars. It doesn't have to be glass. It can be plastic, clear jars, or whatever that have water in them already. Okay, so 2 drops. I'm going to kind of give them a little swirl. You can kind of see how it's dispersing. So you're talking with kids about disbursement and how it sinks. I love the way this looks. Really, really cool. You can see it. Ooh, you can see like where the drops went through. Very cool. You can see it in the red. You can see it in the yellow. The yellow not as clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a little swirl. So I'm going to go like this and swirl it around to mix it in. Okay. I want it all mixed in. Okay, swirl it up so that it really gets in there. Okay, and the yellow. Okay, so you could do more than one thing. So with kids, you could have them mix the colors. So you could play with color first and have kids mix. So yellow, do a little yellow, okay, and a little red. And of course, I'm going to get orange. Okay, kids can see. Then what if I did a little bit of red and a little blue? Purple. Looks more black. Maybe if I do a little more red. There. Okay. So purple. And then what if I did, let's see, yellow and blue. And then kids can see that it changes color. Okay. So that's one thing you can do with the water and the food coloring. So you can mix the colors of water to get purple. It's not the greatest purple. It looks more brown, but it's purple. Orange and green. Okay. But you additionally can then use so I have the oil here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding, okay, some color drops. Ooh. And you can see the color dropped right in. Some of them float. You can see them floating. Okay. You can see them. It's really cool. Love it. And kids love to see how it is separated. Okay, how it floats. You can do it so that you can get them to float on the top or drop down to the bottom. Ooh, isn't that funny how some are heavier? I wonder why. Must be the color is denser or heavier. So this is going to show kids how the water separates and the water and oil mix. You can see there's some that are floating here at the top. There are a whole bunch that have gathered at the bottom, but they are not mixed together. Why? Well, talk with your kids about the density and the difference of the water and the oil, and how the oil is denser, and so the water doesn't mix with it. How, like the food coloring at the beginning, remember it was kind of swirled and you could see how it floated. So the water was actually denser than the food coloring because you could see it. It didn't mix totally until I swirled it around. So have your kids each do this on their own so that they can experiment. See how many of the bubbles of food coloring that they can get floating at the top and which ones are down at the bottom and how they look. It is just so cool. You can see them in the bottom. It is really, really cool if I pour a little. You can see the drops. Okay, same thing. If I go like this and maybe I drop it from a different height. Okay, if I drop them from a different height, do they separate? Do they stay together? Do they fall immediately to the bottom? These are perfect things to do to celebrate STEM activities and science with your kids. Whether you are a parent, whether you're at home, you're homeschooling, or whether you're a teacher at a school, or whatever, it doesn't matter what age your kids are, but kids of all ages will enjoy doing this experiment, this science experiment, and figuring out the density and how different liquids are different from each other, like oil and water and food coloring and other things. And you can try other things. What if you put milk in here? What do you think would happen? What if I put milk in the water as opposed to putting milk in the into the oil? What would happen? So two different kinds of things. You can mix colors of water and food coloring, okay? Or you can additionally do an experiment with oil and water and see how it floats, see how the colors separate, how some float, some are laying at the bottom as bubbles. You can get them to fall to the bottom. Watch let's see, if we do this, make a heavy bottom, and there it goes. Okay, let's do it again. So that I'm gonna hold on to the side here so that you can see it. Okay, so here we go. And wow. And then if I did just a little bit, make my bubble heavier. But what if I do a bigger bulb? Oop, right down to the bottom. It also depends how much is in your dropper. Ooh, that's a big bubble. There it goes to the bottom. And look at them all floating at the bottom. Tons, and then there's little ones floating on the top. I hope you have fun with this. Celebrate STEM and tinker around with different things. Try new things, try something different. And these are all things that you probably have in your cupboards at home. Hugs to you all. Happy tinkering and happy National STEM Day yesterday. And today's Young Readers Day too. Go figure. You could read about STEM projects. The library, our library here in Camden, has some wonderful books on STEM projects and experiments that you can do at home. Check them out. Miss Amy, happy tinkering.